Hi, I'm Liz Parker, Senior Editor of Candy Industry Magazine. Today we have Elena Guberman of TBH with us. Thanks for coming, Elena.
So welcome. Thanks for having me on.
So TBH is a hazelnut cocoa spread, which is our focus this month. And TBH is internet slang for to be honest. How did that brand name come about? I assume it's related to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I have two co-founders. One of them is Noah Schnapp, who is one of the characters on Stranger Things. He was 15 when the concept for this brand came about and teamed up with Bob Manuzzi and Umana Venture Studio to kind of bring it to life. And the name really hovers around this desire to be transparent about what we're putting out into the world. The hazelnut spread that we all know and love has ingredients that long for more to be desired. So we really thought that calling ourselves To Be Honest, or TBH for short, kind of positions that mindset first and foremost.
That makes sense. Can you
Yeah.
talk a bit about the chocolate spread? I see it's made without palm oil. So what other clean label or organic ingredients are you using?
The current industry leader, Nutella, has sugar as their first ingredient and palm oil as the second ingredient. We have hazelnuts as our primary one. And I think that's just really important. Right now, they're coming from a couple of different sources. And our goal over the coming years is really to streamline our supply chain, to continue improving it, and to ideally get a lot of those hazelnuts from Oregon here in the US. Some of the other ingredients that we're using that we really love are our cocoa powder. We use just a beautiful cocoa powder. We have a cocoa butter. And we are not organic as of yet, although we are in the middle of our non-GMO verification. And I think that's another goal we have for the years to come, is to lean more to be an organic brand. But because our ingredients are quite expensive and high quality, we don't want to be something that is out of the price point for our consumers. So starting with one thing at a time, and as we scale, we hope to continue improving our ingredients and also continue improving our price point.
Okay. That's exciting about non-GMO. Do you know when that's going to happen, or it's in the process right now?
It's in the process. We expect it to happen by the end of the summer with the non-GMO projects. I know that there's a lot of brands looking for this certification, so it's just a work in progress. And it's also just a big point for us as we continue having conversations with new retailers like Whole Foods, who definitely want that bug on our label.
Yep, that makes sense. Kind of switching topics a little bit. I was on your website earlier. It's very eye-catching. I liked how when I scrolled down, the can would move. I thought that was a lot of fun. And I thought it was great that you have a snacking themed Spotify website. So is the brand, or playlist rather, is the brand primarily marketing towards like millennials, Gen Z, younger people, or is there like a target audience?
Yeah, when we launched, because Noah was quite young when the concept came about, and he was a massive part of our ideation and R&D and testing and tasting everything. We did want and do want his kind of fans and his Gen Z demographic to follow us on the journey. Since launch, they are definitely like our biggest supporters and our biggest fans, and that's been incredible. And they're actually educating their parents and their grandparents on the benefits of our ingredients versus other competitors in the space. We're finding that a lot of moms, dads, parents are also consumers of TBH. They buy it for their kids, but then also they eat it themselves. So a spoonful for breakfast, but then as you're putting away the jar, you kind of sneak in one more spoonful for yourself. And thirdly, we feel like vegans are a massive space for us. Nutella is not vegan, and a lot of folks who have been vegans for decades are definitely super, super excited to try something that mirrors something they couldn't have for the last 30, 40 years, but still has that amazing taste that they want and long for.
I know vegan products are really big right now, and I called it a trend, but it's not really a trend because there have been vegans around forever, but there's definitely more products geared towards vegans right now.
Yeah, I think that overall, I myself am not a vegan, but I acknowledge that I should do things to better my body, to better the planet. And it doesn't mean that I have to overhaul my entire life, but once a week I will eat plant-based. If I go out to dinner, I love vegetables and roasted vegetables as opposed to getting red meat sometimes. So I think having a product that is vegan but still tastes as good is the most important thing, because none of us want to give up our taste buds, and we all want something delicious. So if there is a vegan option that is equally delicious or potentially even more delicious, I think for me that's just such a beautiful future.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And you've kind of gone over this a little bit, but the brand says it strives to be transparent and direct. So how does it adhere to sustainable standards or trying to make a more sustainable supply chain?
Yeah, so to start, as any early stage brand, like there's a couple of things that we did at the beginning. One is really focusing on our packaging. So our jar, though it is plastic, it is made from 100% post-consumer recycled materials. So our jar comes from plastic. It is not virgin material. And that's really important. All of our corrugate packaging is similarly like upcycled corrugate. And in addition, our box supplier Giver Packaging actually plants trees for all materials produced. So they plant 20x trees to fibers produced, which is a mission that we could definitely get behind. From there, I think in the future, moving forward for us as a brand, there are a couple of things that we could do in order to demonstrate to our consumers and to ourselves that we are being more sustainable than the alternative. One is really focusing on who our suppliers are, getting to know them. If they're farmers, getting to know those farmers, figuring out where our cocoa comes from, where our hazelnuts come from, where does our pea protein come from, and really understanding the supply chain of our suppliers so that we're more knowledgeable. And then we've also been talking to like a couple of open chain projects to be like fully transparent into where our ingredients are coming from. We're still a lean team, so all of these are ideas that we want to implement as we grow, but definitely getting the research earlier on helps us understand what consequences our decisions today will have on who we are as a brand in a year or two from now. And then one thing that we've wanted to do since the very beginning, and it's still very important to us, is at some point becoming a B Corp. I think that is in our industry just a good way to show our transparency, not only to our investors, but to kind of everyone who engages with the brand, that our intentions for our team, for our product are coming from a good place.
That sounds good. I know B Corp, I've been seeing that a lot lately. It really means a lot, I think, when people have that and it's on the packaging.
I agree. I think it like stands for something. It's a really amazing organization. And honestly, to get that little logo on your packaging takes like a lot of work. There is a lot of effort that goes into making sure you're certified. Everything from like how employees are getting treated, benefits, maternity leave, like all of these things that one might not think about when they think about kind of a corporation, but B Corp really drills in to make sure that from like soup to nuts, you're doing a really great job. So I'm a huge fan too.
Yep. And then related to sustainability, how does the brand use less material waste throughout the entire production process?
So our production runs tend to be quite large. I think that inherently contributes to less waste. We blend or roast with our suppliers 12,000 kilos of hazelnuts at a time, and then manufacture those. Once a line, if we think about manufacturing, is starting to run, it is beneficial for it to continue running. So we really try to optimize looking at things through more of a manufacturing lens so that our partners can be the most efficient they can be. As far as less material waste, currently we just have one jar with a lid. So making sure that on the line we are testing and trying out as much as possible before we really ramp up. And then again, using materials that are good. So the plastic that we're using is 100% rPET. The corrugate we're using, making sure that is coming from both upcycled materials, but is then also itself planting trees and doing good. Other than that, we're still a single SKU company. So in the future, for items to come, we're definitely looking into what kind of material we are using, what kind of energy our partners are using at the manufacturing level, and continuing to think about that like top of mind as we do R&D for more like product exploration.
That sounds good to me. And then final question, what's next for the brand, either later this year or perhaps next year?
Yeah, that's a good one. Good tie-in to like the previous question. We spent a good amount of time thinking about what's next, and the clear, obvious solution are single serve packets. So right now we just have a 14-ounce jar. Hard to take that with you on the go, although we have plenty of folks who like take it with them and keep it in their bag just in case, which is quite amazing. But those single serve packets are what's next for us. We're in the final stages of getting those ready for the market. So you'll see those coming out end of Q3, kind of around back to school or early Q4. And that I think will be massive for folks that are on the go, everyone from moms, dads to athletes, outdoorsy folks, hikers, bikers, etc. So that's up front, like front and center. And we're definitely focused on continuing to create a good spread. We don't want to launch into a new category. We want to keep making a really good product, keep our footing in that market. And as we're expanding our retail footprint, making sure that we're just making a good product for our retail partners and for their consumers.
And I think consumers like to see that too. A lot of consumers nowadays are looking for like better for you type products versus maybe what's already on the shelf.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thanks again for your time today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This was such a delight.